god, you advertise Raid Shadow Legends. Everything makes sense now. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bowiehunter, and I have been incredibly busy these last few days, but I am trying with the content, I swear. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a YouTuber. You may have heard of him, you might not. We're going to be talking about ESO, a YouTuber with 1.8 million subscribers. Why are we talking about him? Because there's been a few things that I just straight disagree with, and I want to talk about it. So, ESO is primarily a Bethesda fan channel, and I don't feel bad about saying that. I'm sure ESO is a very nice guy. He seems pleasant, but yeah, primarily Bethesda stuff. Super heavy on the Skyrim and Fallout, but he's been making cyberpunk videos, and I'm gonna be talking about one of them as well. So, let's just start. So this is the Keening video where he talks about how to get a super secret little known weapon called Keening and a spell, and makes a mistake and somehow doesn't catch it in editing or just doesn't bother to fix it.
Produce some notable effect. Work, damn you!
So if you're wondering what happened there, guys, I'm going to explain the lore behind it in a moment. It's probably one of the most significant pieces of evidence for how the Dwemer disappeared. But first, guys, make sure you pick up Keening from the floor, and then check your inventory because you'll find a secret spell has appeared in your conjuration list. The game doesn't even mention to you that this spell is added, but let's talk about this first, okay?
Now, I actually left a comment on this video, and I remember it extremely well. I wrote something along the lines of, he says it doesn't tell you, even though it shows you in the corner, or something to that effect. And then someone replied saying that I think he meant such and such when he said the game doesn't mention that it was added. And I replied saying, no, I think he meant it doesn't mention when the spell was added, when he said it doesn't mention when the spell was added. Another funny thing, I can't find my comment in the video anymore. I'm usually pretty good at finding my old comments, but yeah, this one I just can't find it. By the way, you pinned a comment that's a copy paste from the Elder Scrolls wiki and they don't credit the wiki. I'm just letting you know. Okay, so we're moving on to Clavicus Vile. This is going to be the one where I have the most to talk about, so get ready.
Enter. I suggest taking out the fire one first. Wrecked. As for the wizard, he's going to be up here, just chilling out. He doesn't even care that his astronaut just got killed, so give him a arrow to the back of the knee. Get wrecked, son. Hell yeah. So he is now dead, Sebastian Lortz, and you can find the rueful axe just here on this stone tablet. We can see though from the werewolves embossed on the axe that the wizard Sebastian probably did kill his daughter, since she is no longer in the cave with him and he instead seems to keep a female flame atronach for company. Now, if you've made this decision, you'll realise that the rueful axe is actually just a hidden slap on the wrist from Bethesda for choosing to kill a dog, especially when you realise that the rueful axe does not actually count towards the Oblivion Walker achievement. Now, for years, a lot of people thought that this was just a bug, that it didn't count as a Daedric artifact. But to be honest, all the signs here point towards this being intentional by design.
Alright, so after 2 hours of intense Google searching, I have come to the conclusion that you made that up. The furthest back I could go was 2012. And from that date and onwards, people have repeatedly said that the rueful axe does not count towards the achievement. And you made this 1 year ago.
Signs here point towards this being intentional by design, to actually punish the player for making such a selfish, horrendous moral decision. How could you kill a poor innocent dog. You literally just kill it in one hit as well. And the definition of the word rueful means to express sorrow or regret in a humorous way. That is why a Daedra's best friend is one of my favourite quests in Skyrim, because it's just so interesting how they designed the game that way.
You're not wrong, but you're not right either. Bethesda is punishing you more than you know, actually. In Elder Scrolls lore, the Rueful Axe is a Daedric artifact created by Clavicus Vile, stated by the prince himself, so it is a Daedric artifact, as it was created by a Daedric prince, albeit the Prince of Trickery, so it's absolutely terrible. But lo and behold, the benevolent Bethesda decides this is not the correct artifact for you to possess, and bars you from progressing in the achievement despite it being a valid artifact. This is why I would be very hesitant to give Bethesda any kind of credit with anything regarding this game. However, if you were hard set on giving Bethesda credit, then I would argue that it would be for writing within continuity for this segment. However, this comes with an asterisk, for as I mentioned, Bethesda themselves have Vile claimed that he created the Rueful Axe, making it a Daedric artifact. But they just decide this doesn't count as a Daedric artifact for the achievement. This, however, can be countered with the in-universe argument that Vile was simply tricking the player by saying that to convince them that the axe has some value and therefore should be kept, which it in fact is just a normal enchanted axe with a unique design, thus playing into his ultimate goal, which I will explain in a moment.
But now what happens if we make the right decision to return the axe to Clavicus Vile, in turn to spare Barbas's life? Yes.
Oh, wait a second. There's another option here.
I've been thinking it over.
And?
No deal. Take the axe back and Barbas.
Huh. You're no fun at all. Guess I'll have to make my own fun elsewhere. And with the pup back, I'll be restored to my full power. There's a whole world just waiting for me. I knew I could trust you. Yeah, dog gets master, master gets cosmic axe. Everyone's happy. Just get over here, mutt. Don't worry, I'll make sure he sees the light. I trusted you, now you trust me. Oh, that feels so much better. You forget how nice supreme power feels until you've been stuck in a cave for a few years. Now, as for your wish, an end to the war, was it? I'll make sure this war ends all right, just as soon as the dragons swarm across Skyrim and wipe out all of you puny. Oh, fine. Have my boon and be done with it. Got more interesting deals to make anyway.
There we go, the Mask of Clavicus Vile. Let's take a look at this item, guys. Now, the mask makes prices 20% better, and it also fortifies our persuasion by 10 points as well, making it the best headwear for selling items in the game. It also regenerates magicka 5% faster, which is nice, but it's nothing special. Ultimately, the most interesting thing about this questline is that the game does indeed reward the morally correct decision here, and it punishes the bad ones so hard.
Clavicus Vile will send out Barbas to collect someone for Clavicus to play with, since he is the child god. Clavicus will make a deal in which if you do something for him, he will grant one wish. However, this deal is a lie from the beginning, as Clavicus Vile is the Daedric Prince of Trickery, but more on that in a bit. Whether or not you kill Barbas, narratively it makes no difference. Just as Dagon returned after being killed by Akatosh in Oblivion, Barbas will return as well. So if we were to look at this simplistically, it comes down to what quest reward you want. However, in terms of in-universe story, this can go a bit deeper. In your morality choice, you put it in the most simplistic mindset imaginable. Who would kill an innocent dog? What you apparently failed to pick up on is that Vile says this.
Guess I'll have to make my own fun elsewhere. And with the pup back, I'll be restored to my full power. There's a whole world just waiting for me.
I'll have to make my own fun elsewhere. There's a whole world waiting for me. By the way, you wished for Vile to end the war. He doesn't do that. So you still got tricked. And now you unleashed this similar situation onto someone else. I will explain. There's a lot going on in this quest. Vile's ultimate goal is to trick someone into having the rueful axe, essentially a useless item, and killing Barbas. Why? Because it's fun to him. However, if you choose not to do that, he will still trick you by not only not granting your wish, but now he'll do this same thing to someone else. So the moral decision to be made here is, do you allow Clavicus Vile to trick someone else and take the Daedric artifact? Or do you want Clavicus Vile to come up with a new trick, but without the help of Barbas for a century? Either way, Clavicus wins. So now I present the question, are you sure this was the right decision? Now you can, of course, make the argument that Bethesda really did make this restriction because you killed the immortal Daedric secretary dog. I can't confidently say no, I wasn't there. I'm just not willing to give them an ounce of credit. At all. Now this is where things start to get interesting. If we are to use the Elder Scrolls Wiki as a credible source of information, which by your pinning a comment copying from said wiki tells me you approve of, the wiki states that the Rueful Axe is in fact a Daedric artifact, meaning now that Bethesda is simply not allowing us to progress in the Oblivion Walker achievement because we just decided that we don't want you to. However, Bowie, this is because you morally made the wrong choice. Well, earlier on, I said we could give credit to Bethesda for maintaining continuity in their writing of this quest. However, if they actually were maintaining continuity, then the reasoning for you not being able to progress because you kill Barbas still doesn't make sense. Because in maintaining continuity, it would be understood that there is far more going on with this choice than just whether you are killing a dog or not. Let me put this another way. Why would you be barred from achievement progression by keeping Clavicus Vile from full power and not allowing him to trick someone with Barbas' help for another century? Do you see how this narratively doesn't make sense after we start looking at it? And if we are keen on praising Bethesda on writing and meta decisions, then adversely, I think it is only appropriate to criticize them on some shortcomings. For instance, the Skyrim Civil War, particularly if you side with the Empire after you are given an order, you have the choice of saying, essentially, consider it done, or I don't know, I have to think about it, to either confirm or rejecting starting the next quest in the line. In terms of game design, and particularly in RPGs, I am all for having player choice and letting the player control their actions. However, in this particular context, no. I understand that it's an RPG, but good God, You are in the military. You sided with the Empire, the Imperial Legion, the elite soldiers serving the Emperor. And you are given an order by a superior in the middle of a war. The context of this stuff is this needs to get done like now. And let me put it this way. If your superior ever gives you an order and you respond with, I don't know, I have to think about it, you will definitely not be walking off and taking a little old nap in the tent there. This could have been done way better. And in the worst case scenario of not being able to replace that line with literally anything else, we know Bethesda isn't above auto-starting quests in Skyrim. They could have just auto-started you accepting the mission as if you were saying, yes ma'am, and then you can go sleep because it returns to the game part of Skyrim. Just in that particular moment, narratively, you would not just be walking away after refusing an order in wartime. That would just not happen. So this is one of his cyberpunk videos. It's a build guide. Specifically an early build guide.
Ah yes, a full set of legendary corpo armor at the start of the game with an armor rating of 3634 in Cyberpunk 2077. Not only do we look like we own Night City, but my armor rating is so damn high, I feel like a god. In fact, we don't really take any damage anymore, so we essentially are a god. And all this can be done extremely early on in the game. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to get a full set of legendary armor themed around being a corpo at the start of the game, and then I'll show you guys how to upgrade your armor to become immune to damage. It's rather funny that this is something Cyberpunk allows you to do.
Now I have a question for you. What do you consider to be early in terms of levels? Would you go above 20? If not, well, not only do I agree with you, but you're gonna like this. So here's a comment that I left. Just for clarification, since ESO doesn't mention it at all in this early build guide. Blazer, level 6 requirement. Trousers, level 6 requirement. Glasses, level 20 requirement. Baseball cap, doesn't show up until after Panem helps you find Hellman, and level 20 requirement. Heat resistant nano weave shirt, level 30 requirement. I wouldn't exactly call this an early build guide, since some of these pieces need a level 20 requirement and one requires 30. This isn't strictly speaking early. So, ESO, how do you, a 1.8 million subscriber channel, seem to fail to mention to your viewers that these items in this early build guide have level requirements? Some of them are at level 20. One of them requires for you to be level 30. This is in fact not early, especially considering that the level cap at the time that you made this video was level 50. Also, that brings up another thing. Why are you making this early build guide with a character that's max level? Why did you think that would make sense? Why would you not try to make a build guide with an actual early build character?